my name's Tara Carnival, and I'm here to talk to you about John Newbery and the Newbery Book Award. So, John Newbery is often referred to as the father of children's literature. He was an 18th century English publisher. He was born in Berkshire, England in 1713, and he was actually the son of a farmer, but some of his other family members worked in the book publishing business. He was always interested in reading and writing, so he decided to kind of go under their wing. Actually got a apprenticeship with a newspaper printer at the age of 16. A few years later, newspaper printer owner actually died. He left half of it to Newbery, so he was obviously very good at his job if the owner left him half after he died. He owned that half of that business, as I said, with the owner's brother. So there was still some family tie into it. That was in 1737. In 1743, so a few years later after the owner died and Newbery took over, the newspaper, which was titled Reading Mercury, it was thriving, and he even sold ads for like 30 different medicines. But, Newbery kind of wanted to change it up. So in 1745, he moved to London, and he opened his own publishing company called the Bible and Son. And during this time, John started writing his own books. He actually started writing children's books, and he started publishing them because it's his own publishing house. Why not publish your own books? And he found a lot of success because there weren't a lot of children's literature market. There wasn't that much of a market out there for it. This was also the time in Britain, the 18th century, where the middle class started rising and earning a lot more money than they had been. So they had more money to spend on their children's leisure activities. The rise of children's literature is something I think is really important that we don't really think about. When children's literature came to be, it started almost a new way of thinking about children. They weren't just the babies anymore. They were seen as mini adults. They had their own interests and energy and tiny attention spans. Children's literature, completely changed the way you were able to read to your children or have them read by themselves. Before children's literature kind of came to be, adults were reading adult books to children. They're really long for children to sit there and listen to, and probably confusing with big words that kids don't understand yet. Thanks to John Newbery, children's books still thrive today, especially with, parents and people who just love literature and educators. Having those children's literature books for their class is so beneficial. You can't sit there and read Romeo and Juliet to a bunch of first graders. They're not really gonna understand what's going on. So John Newbery is memorialized now in the Newbery Book Award, which is the next subject I want to talk about. So in 1921, this was over 100 years after Newbery had died, a man named Frederick Melcher, he proposed to have an award for children's books and suggested it to be named after John Newbery. At this point, children's literature or children's books, they didn't really have a lot of respect in the literary community. So when Melcher proposed this idea to have them be recognized, the American Library Association and, children's librarians all around the world were yeah, that's awesome. They do deserve the attention and the recognition that they deserve. So Melcher's Newbery vision was formally approved in 1922, and there was an agreement of what the Newbery Medal was to mean. The clear purpose of it was to appreciate and recognize distinguished children's literature. Newbery Award became the first children's book award in the world. You've probably seen books with the Newbery Award seal on them. I have one right here. This is El Defo that we're going to be reading. It has it right here. It's just a picture of what looks like an adult man with two children just kind of standing there, ready to read. So we know who John Newbery is now. We know what the Newbery Book Award is. So why are they important? Why are they important to us in this class or important in general to the world? Me, I'm studying to become an elementary school teacher, so Newbery Award winning books, they are important to me. They're going to be important to me for my whole career as an elementary school teacher because you want to teach your class books with good morals and good stories and interesting stories. A lot of children's books out there now. So to have books that have that seal on them that says, this is a good one, you should definitely read this one. That's going to be easy for me to look up as a teacher and figure out what books I should read to my class or have the class read independently. And Newbery awarded books always going to fall under that category. There's not going to be a Newbery book out there with a horrible moral to teach children. to those of you who aren't becoming educators or aren't educators now, they should still be important to you. Because, you know, we're all connected to children, whether you have your own or your friends have kids or like your nieces and nephews. It's something you can gift to them. Newbery Book Awards are awesome for spreading a love for reading. And, you know, even if you don't have any kids in your life, you can read Newbery Book Awards. Just because it's children's literature doesn't mean, oh, it's going to be too easy for me to read. I don't need to read that. You can read them. I think it's amazing to look back at all the books I read as a kid and just thinking, like, I didn't understand half of it. Or I didn't understand the underlying morals or the underlying, you know, hidden storylines. I just understood, like, what was in the pictures and, like, what was explained to me. Overall, it's just, like, a great way to spread a love for reading. And, you know, reading enriches education and our society. You're able to read about all these different facts and fictions, and reading's great. Newbery books are a great way to spread a love for reading, and they're great for educators and parents and just people who like to read. That's all I have for you today. John Newbery, Newbery Book Award, great subjects. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a good spring semester. Bye.